Penko stands before a grand door, his armor gleaming. He just tested his new form and found it flawless. A voice whispers, "It is a marvelous attack." Penko kneels before a statue of Kyoka-sama, his armor still on. He feels its power. A woman beside him notes it almost looks like a holy servant. Penko lifts his helmeted face, a small smile under the metal. He hears the praise and replies, "I'm glad to hear that." His confidence grows with each word. A sudden burst of speed. Penko vanishes in a flash, leaving only motion lines behind. He moves faster than the eye. Here's your recap of Chained Soldier, Soldier 130 through 135. Subscribe for more recaps. Can follow. A blur of power and purpose. Elsewhere, a small creature sits atop a dome, sipping tea. Two women watch Penko. One says his form is abnormal. The other wonders if it's a blessing. Penko floats midair, fully clothed. A woman's voice commands, "Take your clothes off." He doesn't resist, drifting as if in a dream, awaiting his next task. Penko starts to unbutton his shirt, eyes wide with surprise. The woman beside him, calm and commanding, tells him to strip down to his underwear. He obeys. Penko's eyes go wide as he realizes what's happening. He gasps, "Oh, the reward has begun." He knows this is part of the ritual, but his heart races. Penko freezes, half undressed, as the woman watches him. He nervously asks, "Is watching me part of the reward too?" She just smiles, saying nothing. Penko lies on the floor, shirtless. The woman sits on his chest, her hand resting on his heart. She says nothing, just waits for him to speak, her gaze steady. The woman leans close, her voice soft. "Bare your heart." Penko looks up, confused. She adds, "Confess one of your sins." In the presence of Kyoka-sama, Penko closes his eyes, remembering a past battle. He whispers, "I felt so powerless and frustrated. I got blown away by the god of thunder." His voice shakes. A dark, swirling mark appears on Penko's chest. He says, "If I had the power of a peach, I'd have been able to do more." The woman watches, her eyes sharp. Penko's voice cracks. "Yet I wished for even more." He admits, "I should already be grateful that I can use the power of slave." He looks down, ashamed. The woman stands, her foot pressing on Penko's chest. She calls him pathetic, says he deserves to be stepped on. Penko grits his teeth, accepting her judgment. She steps harder, crushing his chest. "This intensity, right?" she says. Penko gasps, "I have just crushed your weak heart." He feels the weight of her words. The woman turns to Penko, her hand still on his chest. "Looks like it's my turn," she says. "By confessing to each other, we'll understand one another." Penko sits up, stunned. The woman stands before him, her expression unreadable. He stares, unsure what to do next, his body still trembling from her touch. The woman kneels, her hands moving to her own clothes. Penko watches, frozen, as she begins to undress before him, her movements slow and deliberate. Her hands unfasten her bra, revealing her skin. Penko stares, his face flushed. She doesn't look at him, focused only on the task at hand, her breath steady. A single tear falls from her eye. She doesn't wipe it away. The tear rolls down her cheek, a silent admission of pain she's kept hidden for too long. She looks up, her voice soft. "I will talk about my mother." She remembers her mother, called the Cursed Witch, and how she was defeated by her own daughter. She stands, her voice firm. "My mother had grown frail," she says. "I know you'll do great." She turns, ready to leave, but pauses at the door. She closes her eyes, a sad smile on her lips. "I often remember how sad my mother looked back then." She asks, shouldn't I, as her daughter, have treated her with kindness? She kneels in a field of flowers, her mother beside her. She whispers, "Had always been kind to me." Her mother smiles, a moment of peace before the storm. The flowers sway in the wind, the mountain behind them silent. The moment fades, leaving only the memory of her mother's kindness, now gone. She stands before Kyoka-sama statue, her eyes closed. "But back then, I had not known Kyoka-sama." She remembers her mother's pain, her own helplessness. Penko stands behind her, listening. She turns, her voice firm. "Please expel this weakness from me." She looks at him, her eyes full of resolve. Penko nods, understanding. "Yes." He says, "And it will have no point if you hold back." She asks, "You want to punish me?" He doesn't answer, just stares. Penko's eyes widen. He didn't expect this. He stands frozen, his heart pounding, unsure what to say or do next. The moment hangs heavy in the air. She raises her hand, voice steady. "I'll pour my energy into you." He flinches. She's serious. In the 7th unit way, he doesn't move. She doesn't wait. She grabs him hard. He yelps, thrown off balance. She pulls him close, eyes locked. He tries to speak, but she silences him with a look. No escape now. She slams him down. He cries out, shocked. "This shouldn't hurt," she shouts. He scrambles back, panicked. "You have to see the life force flow," she yells. "He's lost." Her eyes lock on him wide, unblinking. He freezes. She doesn't blink, doesn't breathe. He knows this is no test, this is real. And he's not ready. Tenka greets Yuki with a smile and a hand on his shoulder. He looks surprised. She says she'll take a quick break before the assembly starts. Tenka turns to leave, smiling softly. Yuki watches her go, his expression unreadable. He seems to be thinking about something important. Yuki stands alone, his face showing worry. He thinks Tenka has been acting strangely lately. He calls out her name, but she's already gone. Tenka walks away, waving her hand without looking back. Her smile stays on her face as she moves down the hallway, leaving Yuki behind. Yuki walks down a hall lost in thought. He wonders if something happened to Tenka. He remembers how different she acted today. Konami runs up to Yuki, waving happily. She asks to exchange contacts. He agrees, smiling. She sends him a greeting message right away. Yuki looks at his phone in shock. His eyes widen. He freezes, his hand still holding the phone. Something in the message surprises him. The phone screen shows Konami's message. "Hello. And, also, just so you know, your fly is opened." Yuki's face turns red with embarrassment. The camera pans up to a fancy chandelier in a large room. The room is quiet. Something big is about to happen here. Konami laughs at Yuki's embarrassment. He thanks her, sweating. He says he was so deep in thought he didn't notice. She finds it funny. Yuuki stands in front of a long table where 5 women sit. One says the report on Shangri-La's battle is full of interesting details. A woman with long dark hair speaks. She says Himari Azuma will have great potential when she masters her copy ability. She looks confident. A blonde woman with a ponytail smiles. She says she can vouch for Himari. She points her finger at the dark-haired woman, agreeing with her. The dark-haired woman nods. She says the 3rd unit will focus on coordinating with Belle's ability. The blonde woman shouts, "Roger," in reply. Yuki stands outside the room, smiling. Someone tells him he got praised by the commander. He looks proud and happy about it. A screen shows a logo with swords and a mask. Text says, "The commander election is coming soon." The meeting moves to the next topic. The dark-haired woman leans back, looking calm. She asks if the election will be put on hold. She says they are still in the Mato state of emergency. She sits back, smiling. She says they will defeat their enemies and have the election. She adds she hopes it happens without any incidents. The camera zooms in on her eyes. She says the upcoming election will happen. Her expression is serious. She means every word. A woman in a hat speaks. She says even if they take their time, the world outside will pass in a flash. The blonde woman says, "I see." The dark-haired woman smiles. She says Shangri-La's expansion is finished. Everyone with a voting right can enter. The blonde woman asks if Shangri-La's capacity is enough. The dark-haired woman covers her mouth with her hand. Her eyes are sharp. She seems to be planning something important. She looks focused. 3 women in bikinis are in a hot spring. One says all the chiefs in Shangri-La. Another says what a feast. They look relaxed. The dark-haired woman smiles again. She says the election will keep their hands full inside Shangri-La. She seems to be in control. Yuki looks at a building with a worried face. The sky is dark. He seems to be thinking about something serious. He looks up at the building. Konami is massaging Yuki's back. He says, "Ooh." She asks if he wants her to massage another place. He looks surprised by her offer. The camera shows a temple. Text says Tenka entered the Onyu agency by herself and brought back intel. Konami notices this and looks thoughtful. Yuki looks at Konami with wide eyes. She says Tenka's investigation seems to have finished without problems. He looks relieved. Yuki stands up. Konami sits with her arms crossed. He says Tenka is, and stops. He seems to be thinking about what to say next. Konami looks at Yuki. She says Tenka handed her a letter not long ago. She's waiting to see what will happen. She'll share the intel once it's clear. Yuki says there's no way to know if she's being watched when abilities are involved. He notes she's being careful, which feels very like her. Yuki smiles softly. He says thank you and so very much. He seems truly grateful for her caution and quiet support. Tenka calls Konami while she's getting ready for bed. She answers, surprised. He asks what she was doing before he called. Konami asks Tenka, "What about you, Commander?" She waits for his answer, phone still pressed to her ear. Tenka tells her she's coming to Shangri-La for the commander election. He says she's in charge of chores. She smirks. Konami says, "Good night." Yuki, on the other end, stammers understood. He hangs up, still flustered by her tone. In her office, Konami types late at night. A small inset shows a house. She checks her watch. It's past 10 p.m. Konami sighs, wiping her brow. Her screen shows Yuki's schedule. Yuki-kun should be heading to sleep now. She smiles faintly. Yuaki appears behind her chair. She doesn't turn. He says he knows what she wants to say. She replies, "It's for our own safety." Konami touches Yuki's shoulder. She says he's growing strong, even more muscular. She pulls him close, resting her head on him. Konami whispers she didn't realize she started to crave being pampered. She stays nestled against him, eyes closed. Konami looks at her phone. She sees a photo. Her eyes widen slightly. She holds the phone still, staring at the image. The phone screen shows Yuki in a suit, smiling, hand on his head. He looks happy. She doesn't move. She just keeps looking. Himari and Yuki return to Azuma residence after training. Their friends cheer them on, praising Himari's bravery against the gods of thunder. They sit down for a meal. A man thanks them for the invite and says he'll join them in the other dimension soon. A voice thanks Yuki Wakura for caring for Himari. The tone suggests this is a serious conversation, not just small talk. Homer dashes forward with fierce focus. Her speed is her weapon, and she pushes her body to its limit without hesitation. She runs through the forest, dodging trees with sharp turns. Her movements are precise, showing she's trained this path many times. Her friends watch from the trees. One notes how hard Homar works. Another gasps she's gotten even faster than before. Yuki smiles and adds, "Not just her, but Yochiho too." She knows both girls are improving, and she's proud of them. One girl says, Homar can now stop time more often. Another asks if she can sit next to Homari, showing her affection. Himari stands tall, eyes closed, calm. She listens to her friends, letting their praise settle in without a word. She opens her eyes with a small, confident smile. She doesn't need to boast her strength, speaks for itself. Maya shouts, "Half the MDF's chiefs would be Azuma's." Himari replies coolly, "I'll have all my girls aim for chief." Maya smirks, thinking Homar would struggle. She's not doubting her, just testing how far she can push her limits. Homar keeps sprinting, sweat flying. Maya's voice echoes. If she keeps getting faster, she might become the fastest in the world. Maya turns serious. She looks at Himari and says, "I'm slightly worried about you." Himari's expression doesn't change. Maya calls out, "She's talking about you, Maya." Maya's face twists. She didn't expect to be called out so directly. Himari accuses Maya. "You've been playing games too much, streaming under an alias, haven't you?" Maya freezes. Maya's VTuber avatar flashes on screen. Her friend laughs. "A fancy lady who's good at games? Ha!" Maya looks annoyed. Himari shrugs. "We can overlook it, as long as it doesn't get in the way of your professional duties." Maya asks if Himari can read her like a book. Himari confirms, then says she wants to help Maya with family matters. Himari walks ahead, asking Maya if she sees herself as a potential chief. Maya replies, "I do not." Himari stops and turns. "By my mother, or me?" The impression I get is, you feel comfort in being enveloped. Maya grips her chest. What worries me is how well you adapt to the unexpected. She's not just testing skills, she's testing character. Maya stares hard. So, how should I prove myself? She's ready to be pushed, to show she's more than just a streamer. Maya grins wide. That's what I wanted to hear. Her friend looks stunned. This is the real test, not the games. The ground cracks under their feet. A loud sound rumbles through the forest. Something big is about to happen. A bird flies high above the clouds, peaceful, but the silence feels heavy. The calm before the storm. The group stands in the forest. One looks toward the distant island. The test is about to begin. A man is tied to a tree. Maya and Tamari stand beside him. He looks nervous, unsure what's coming next. Maya announces the test. She's got to rescue you, who got trapped in this space, and get out with you. The tied man panics. Maya laughs. Don't worry if you get banged up. We can heal you. Himari smiles. Thanks for playing along. Maya teases the tied man, leaning close. You could even undress each of us if you like. Himari giggles beside her, watching his reaction. Maya turns, showing her back. You could go from me, all the way to Fubuki. Her voice is calm, but her words make him freeze. The girls lean in, kissing him on both cheeks. And everyone could take their turns, they whisper. He stays still, eyes wide. Fubuki yells, say what? You'd be scaring him. Maya shrugs. It would become your reward somewhere along the way, mother. Maya strokes his head. Just wait patiently until Maya rescues you, all right? He nods weakly, too scared to refuse. Alone now, he stands tied to the tree. His arms are bound. He looks around, waiting. The forest is quiet. Too quiet. Maya appears on a rock above. I found you. She drops the rope. All that's left is finding the exit. He stares, stunned. Dark shapes rise from the ground. Hands reach up, clawing at the air. The man screams. Maya stays calm, watching the chaos. Giant crab-like monsters burst from the earth. They move fast, snapping claws. The man tries to run, but he's still tied. Maya turns to him. Those aren't Shuki. It's an ability I haven't seen before. He looks at her, then at the monsters. The crabs charge. Maya grabs his hand. They're fast. She pulls him, his claws snap near their feet. They barely escape. A giant hand rises from the ground, lifting them both. The Great One, Maya says. He clings to her, heart pounding. Wings spread from the hand, soaring into the sky. Maya looks back. They hired a lot of ability users I'm unfamiliar with. A giant hand grabs two people mid-air. A bird flies close, and a boy shouts, the bird is catching up to us. A woman with glasses thinks. I must refrain from any battles. Locating the exit gate should be my top priority. The boy yells, exit found. Once we jump into it, this will be over. Birds dive toward them from above. A leopard-like woman lands near a swirling portal. She snarls, ready to attack as the portal pulses with energy. She leaps at the portal, but a giant hand slams down, crushing the ground where she stood. She cries out in shock. The boy shouts, she caught up. He clenches his fist. We simply must retaliate. The woman looks determined. The woman throws a flying object. The boy dodges. It was a strategic maneuver, she says. That was not poor aim. She raises her hand. I'll disband the hand I sent flying ahead. The boy looks up as the hand descends beneath them. The boy smiles. That was great, Maya-san. She starts to reply, of course, before the scene cuts. The leopard woman dives down, claws out. The boy looks up, eyes wide. She aims straight for him. The woman gasps. It's aimed at the hostage. I can't react in time. An ambush? She freezes in place. The giant hand slams down. The woman grabs the boy and pulls him close. He yells as they dodge the impact. The hand smashes into the cliff. The boy and woman are flung through the air, barely escaping the debris. The woman catches her breath. I'm astonished you managed to evade it. The boy asks, Mai-san, are you all right? She admits. I froze up for a moment due to how surprised I got. My mother spoke of this weakness. She clenches her fist. I must learn from it. Her eyes narrow with focus. She won't let fear stop her again. Giant hands form around them. She says, this is my trump card. The boy stares as the hands change shape. The hands crush a tree. The boy screams as they crash into the cliffside, sending rocks flying everywhere. She holds the boy tight. Their resilience is top class. They cannot move nor attack. He looks scared but safe. Suddenly they shake. The boy shouts, we're shaking. A soldier yells, this means we're being attacked from the outside. A giant beast bursts from the ground. Soldiers fire at it. The woman stands firm, protecting the boy with her body. She shouts, utterly pointless. This is a completely safe spot. The boy looks up, amazed by her confidence. Her eye focuses, but its defense is perfect. She knows the barrier is unbreakable, but it's too tight. The boy yells, is a bit too cramped. She holds him close, sweat on her face as they wait out the attack. They stand outside a large building. A voice says, well done. They made it out alive, unharmed. The boy thanks Yuki Wakura. She says, you developed your ability into being even stronger at defense. A woman observes. They have a really strong trust towards her. Another adds. She's raised him and Hamari to be very strong. A close-up shows a woman whispering, Chief Uzun. Her face is calm, but her eyes hold deep thoughts. A woman flies toward the building. She says, you come to attack our headquarters by yourself. Another replies, well, that's unexpected. She smirks, arms wide. That your buddy's watching from somewhere? She pauses. Or could it be? Her voice drops. This changes everything. Her eyes lock on. Just bring them all out. She doesn't blink. For the godslaying. She means every word. No fear. Just calm resolve. She turns her head slow. A single tear falls. Are pretty scary. She stays quiet. So, what will she do next? The air feels heavy. A god stands before a human, asking if they want to live together. The human refuses to fight, but the god's next move shocks everyone. The ground cracks open beneath them. A massive crater forms as the god's power shakes the earth, leaving the human standing alone at the edge. The god steps into the crater, declaring she came to talk. The human wonders if this is what they truly wanted. As debris rains down around them, the god turns, her long hair flowing. The human stares, confused. asking what she is doing as the god begins to remove her clothes. The god explains this is hot spring diplomacy in human terms. She smiles, confident in her unorthodox approach to negotiation. She strips completely, revealing her body. She says it's to show she has no ill will, and adds that gods enjoy baths. Stepping into the water, she sinks into the hot spring with a sigh, saying the water feels great. Steam rises as she relaxes, ignoring the human's stunned silence. She invites the human to join her, saying they don't seem afraid. The human refuses, stating they won't show their bare skin, not even to a god. The human crosses their arms, staying dry. The god laughs, agreeing to keep chatting, her smile never fading as she floats in the water. The god stretches out, calling the world Mato. She says it's unfortunate humans wandered in, but 3 gods were slain instead. The human listens, then asks if the gods came just to talk. The god confirms they came to deliver divine punishment, but didn't attack. The god dives under the water, her form blurred by ripples. She moves gracefully, her long hair swirling around her as she swims. She surfaces, laughing. She says humanity is truly amazing, her hands raised in admiration as steam curls around her. She smiles, her eyes sharp. She says the gods have acknowledged humanity's power, which is why they've surrendered. She asks what the human desires. She then declares they wish to coexist. Stepping out of the water with a bright smile, she raises her arms, declaring she wishes for humans to worship the gods. Water drips from her skin as she speaks with conviction. She says if humans worship, the gods will be satisfied. Behind her, a shrine stands, its gates open under the bright sun. She promises humans will build many shrines dedicated to them. The shrine behind her looks grand, ready for worship. She tells the human they can use Mato's resources freely if they work with the gods. The human asks how this benefits humans. She says humans will get a stable supply of peaches. Behind her, 2 large docile Shuki appear, obeying her command. The human looks away, deciding to fight or coexist. The god watches, calm, as her long hair flows behind her. She suddenly grabs the human, pulling them close. She says she'll tell them anything they want to know if they accept her proposal. She smiles, asking if this body isn't their real one. The human stares, caught off guard by her sudden closeness and bold question. She looks directly into the human's eyes, saying she only came to share intentions today. Her gaze is steady, unreadable. A snake coils on the ground, then slithers away. The human and god stand nearby, watching it go as the god's hair flows in the wind. The snake moves quickly, its body twisting across the ground. It disappears into the distance, leaving the 2 alone once more. The human looks up, eyes wide. They seem to be processing everything, their expression unreadable as the god's hair brushes against them. The scene shifts to a shrine. Text says Shikoku's proposal was relayed to all concerned parties on that same day, the roof glowing in the light. Inside, a group sits in shock. One asks what's going on, while another gasps that the gods intend to coexist, their faces full of disbelief. One woman says they'll wait for the chief's assembly. Another calls the sudden change fishy, while the human looks worried, unsure what to believe. A girl watches a screen, arms crossed, as 2 others nap nearby. She mutters, ha, 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 mutters, hum, ha, sharp. She's piecing things together, not buying the calm surface. One girl admits they expected rage. Another agrees, shocked Shikoku didn't strike. The third smirks, this calm is stranger than any fight. What's she planning? 2 girls share tea, one thoughtful, the other smiling. A sudden sharp eye flash hints trouble. One asks what's on the other's mind, unaware of the storm coming. One suggests leaving to talk. The other agrees but warns it's not the right place. They walk out, unaware their quiet moment is about to shatter. Inside, one girl changes into lingerie. The other watches, then asks if she remembers Kyoto. The memory hangs heavy, something dangerous happened there. Outside, one girl walks alone under an umbrella. She calls someone, then freezes. A phone buzzes, someone's watching. Her calm cracks. A voice demands hostages be released. She stays calm, answers firmly. They threaten her family and pets. She doesn't flinch. Her mind races, planning. She scoffs, calls them idiots. Hostages won't sway her. She smiles coldly. Then she drops the phone crash and shouts, "Let's hear some screams." Attackers leap over the wall. 2 dogs bark wildly. The leader points at them. "Make an example," Heki growls. The dogs snarl, ready to fight. The dogs charge. One leaps, teeth bared. The other ducks, then strikes. A sharp yelp echoes. One dog falls back, hurt but not beaten. The white dog roars, fur bristling. The black one stands tall beside it. She watches, calm. "They're strong and clever, strong and slever," she says. The attackers panic. She laughs, holding the broken phone. "I can handle any traps," she says. "Just like in Kyoto." Dushed, she's ready. The sky darkens behind her. They sit in water, calm. One says they're not terrorists this time, they're gods. The other doesn't flinch. "They can be whatever," Sik replies. "I won't let harm pass." She smiles, eyes sharp. "If their proposal is a trap," she says, "then a swift god-killing will happen." The other girl stares, stunned. "This is no game." The blonde girl gasps, hand over her mouth. Her eyes widen in shock. Something just hit her, realization, fear or awe. She can't speak. Water splashes violently. A figure moves fast beneath the surface. Something's coming. The calm is gone. The fight begins now.